Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Young Voices Big Issues, where we dive into the vast web of international relations. Today we're unpacking China's Belt and Roads Initiative. This ambitious plan, it's not just about laying down infrastructure, it's about China laying claim to the 21st century Silk Road. Stretching across Asia, Africa, and Europe, this initiative touches 65% of the global population, involving over 60 countries and 40% of global GDP. Today, we'll explore how this OBOR, it's not just a game changer for global trade, but it's a geopolitical chess move, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, when China builds a bridge, it's not just to cross the river, it's to make sure that everyone knows who built it. So buckle up because we're about to journey through a new world order, brought to you by the country that gave us both gunpowder and TikTok. And where does India fit into this grand and complex design? Right in the middle of a highly competitive tug of war. India is planning its own actions while China constructs ports and railroads, being careful of China's circling string of pearls strategy. Similar to a monopoly game, you see, except instead of hotels, China is acquiring highways and nautical lines, and India is eyeing the community chest for its next big play. Let's talk about the situation closer to home then. India has a very crucial role to play in influencing both regional and global geopolitics. India's response to China's massive plan, known as the One Belt, One Road initiative, is one of the prime examples of how international relations in this region may evolve in the future. China wants to restructure global trade routes and economic landscapes. The OBOR initiative is often described as the most extensive infrastructural and investment project in history. It aims to connect Asia with Africa and Europe via land and maritime networks along six major corridors, covering 70 countries. There are over 7,000 projects under the OBOR umbrella, ranging from railways to ports and power plants. Some analysts see this project as an unsettling extension of China's rising power, and as the costs of many of these projects have skyrocketed, opposition has also grown in some countries. Meanwhile, the United States shares the concerns of some of the Asian countries that the BRI could be a Trojan horse for Chinese led regional development and military expansion. The estimated cost of this project is over $1 trillion. That's right, folks, you heard me right, $1 trillion. I can barely wrap my head around spending $100 on a new pair of shoes, let alone $1 trillion on infrastructure. Another interesting thing to note is that one of the most well known nations in this area, India, has openly declined to take part in the OBOR project. The China Pakistan Economic Corridor, which crosses the disputed region of Gilgit Baltistan in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, is the main reason for India's concerns. This has been a major area of controversy between India and China. A number of countries, such as Sri Lanka, have faced significant debt traps due to OBOR projects. Sri Lanka, for example, had to lease its Hambantota port to China for 99 years after struggling to repay the debt. It's like leasing your car to a mechanic because you cannot pay the repair bills, but on a much larger scale. The OBOR initiative was launched by the Chinese President Xi Jinping back in 2013 and is often considered the modern Silk Road. The first freight train from China to London traveled 12,000 kilometers in 18 days, symbolizing OBOR's reach. This initiative consists of two main components: the Silk Road Economic Belt, which links China to Europe through Central Asia, and the 21st century Maritime Silk Road, which connects China to Southeast Asia, the Indian Ocean, and Africa. OBOR includes the development of Africa's largest port, the Bagamoyo port in Tanzania. The roads and railways built under the OBOR project would circle the earth more than 4 times if laid end to end. Historically, the Silk Road was an ancient network of trade routes that connected the East and the West. In order to improve international trade and boost economic growth across Asia and beyond, the current OBOR initiative is designed to revive and develop these routes. China considers the OBOR as a strategic project which will help it establish supply networks, expand its market share, and prove its power on the world stage. OBOR also promotes cultural exchange through various education and tourism initiatives. The OBOR projects include energy pipelines which significantly boost regional energy security. Among the participating nations, it also aims to promote economic cooperation and improve connectivity. Where OBOR focuses on digital infrastructure, promoting internet connectivity across Asia and Africa, on the flip side of the coin, India faces both opportunities and challenges as an outcome of the OBOR initiative. Let's see why. India's main concern is the China Pakistan Economic Corridor, as I mentioned, an OBOR flagship project which passes through Pakistan occupied Kashmir. India considers this as a strategic move by China to restrict and breach its territorial sovereignty. It's like your neighbor building a fence right through your backyard. No one likes that, right? Let's see how this is impacting India's relationships with China. The India China relationship has been challenged by the OBOR plan, particularly because of the China Pakistan Economic Corridor. India considers this move as a strategy by China to increase its geopolitical influence over the Indian Ocean region and South Asia. Chinese investments in infrastructure are seen to be a part of the strategic encirclement that is sometimes referred to as the string of pearls strategy with countries including Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. And this is the kind of string which can choke if not handled properly. India has adopted multiple strategies in its response to OBOR. Let's talk about some of these. First of all, it has declined to take part in any OBOR forums and has publicly criticized this project, through which India is actively seeking to counterbalance China's influence in the region. India has also highlighted how CPEC threatens the concepts of territorial sovereignty and territorial integrity. Secondly, in partnership with Japan, India has worked to strengthen its own regional connectivity initiatives, such as the Asia-Africa Growth Corridor and the International North-South Transport Corridor. These initiatives aim to balance out China's OBOR initiative by offering alternative pathways. But it's not just about the opposition. India is also looking at ways to turn this situation to its own advantage. After looking at India's geopolitical position, it's like the geopolitical equivalent of scoring front row seats to the hottest concert. India's strategic location makes it an important player in regional trade and security dynamics. By improving its own connectivity projects and economic partnerships, India can strengthen its position in a hub for trade and investment. Currently, China is listed as an ad hoc participant of the Paris Club, a collection of creditor nations. The Paris Club's 22 permanent members, which do not include China, conduct negotiations with debtor countries which have difficulty repaying loans. While the study acknowledged that on the whole, the initiative was unlikely to cause a systemic debt problem, it still significantly increased the risk of a sovereign debt default in a large number of countries. India can also capitalize on the growing concerns among the countries about China's debt trap diplomacy, where countries are burdened with unsustainable debts due to the OBOR projects. Furthermore, India's growing economy and large market present significant opportunities for foreign investments. By improving its infrastructure and ease of doing business, India can attract investments which might otherwise be directed towards the OBOR projects. Imagine India as a magnet pulling in investments faster than you can say the Silk Road. And that wraps up our deep dive into the fascinating world of the One Belt, One Road initiative and India's big role to play in this greater context. As we've seen, OBOR isn't just about roads and ports. It's about power play, economic actions, and the age-old dance of geopolitics. The future holds a complete mix of competition and collaboration. I mean, there are so many questions which are left unanswered. Will India and China find common ground at building bridges, both literally and metaphorically? Or will they continue to build competing highways in their global race for influence? Only time would tell, but one thing's for sure, the journey ahead will be as twisty as the Himalayan mountain road. From ancient trade routes to digital highways, the story of OBOR is a timeless testament to human imagination and ambition. It reminds us that no matter how advanced technology gets, we're all still driven by the same desire to connect, trade, and yes, sometimes outsmart each other. Let's hope that in this global infrastructural frenzy, no one ends up in a geopolitical traffic jam. After all, there's nothing worse than being stuck behind a slow moving superpower. I'll leave you with a powerful thought from Robert Frost, slightly adapted for our global stage. Two roads diverged in a world. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. As India and China carve out their paths, we can only wait and watch, and perhaps find our own unique route through this grand journey. Thanks for tuning into my podcast. Stay curious, stay informed, and as always, keep an eye open on those geopolitical maps. They're changing faster than ever. Until next time, happy listening and safe travels on your own roads, wherever they might lead.